Howdy, my name is Nolan T. Painter, and in today's video I want to talk about how a good man is never too busy for a woman. Now, this is a bit interesting to think of because as a man, you've always been told you gotta be busy. And as a poor boy, you're told that you have to preoccupy your mind with work so that way you don't dwell on poor thoughts, such that you become a good man. But here's the issue. Often men become so busy trying to become this better version of themselves that they throw away the woman that they worked so hard to achieve. David Goggins divorced his wife because she wasn't willing to work as hard as he wanted. Hamza Ahmed lost his relationships because he wanted to keep on working harder and he never sought having the more precious relationship. So, regardless of how accurate these examples may be, the truth lies in the fact that men get blinded by their purpose so much that they forget, men get blinded by the steps that are necessary to achieve their purpose that they actually forget about the purpose in the beginning. The whole point of the purpose is the woman. You're doing this all for the woman. But if you focus too much on the steps to get to the woman that you actually forget about the woman, then you're lost. I'm struggling a lot with this right now. I know I want to go to the gym and I want to learn a new language and I want to get 100% average in my school and I want to work really hard and I want to make these videos. But a couple months are going to go by where I'm working hard to be a better man to re-enter this relationship with the woman, and I'm terrified with the idea that I might forget about her one day. A day might go by where I don't pray for her, or a day might go by where I'm not reminded why I want to work. Because often we get so stuck in working that we forget why. And the truth is, the big reason why we do it is because we want that beautiful woman. If it wasn't for the reason, then there wouldn't be us actually doing it. If there wasn't, this beautiful woman or a vision of this woman and relationship we had in our mind, would we actually have a reason to become a good man? For ourselves, okay, but naturally people who want to be good aren't really doing it for themselves, they want to do it for others. So we need to figure out a way to keep on working and be so focused on work that it pushes everything else away, but somehow balance that with realizing we're doing it all for her and remembering that she's the priority over everything. Because, men are, like I said, told that life is constantly grinding, but to work so hard that love becomes secondary is a bit of a problem because we need to remind ourselves that love is primary. We're doing the work because we love them. Right? Think of like a father who came home from a giant shift at work, a big long shift, and he's too tired to love his family. Now, deep down, he's doing all that work because he loves you and because he loves the family. But you better hope he doesn't forget that, because he's not working because he enjoys it. He's working because he needs to provide. And a good man must remember that. A good man must find a way to tone down his business or find a way to make more time for the woman. At least from my perspective, I would throw all my business away and everything away to be with this woman. Now, of course, I would still try and be a good man. I would pick something up. I'd figure out a way to make money. I don't care. I'll do whatever that's necessary because I'm doing it for her at the end of the day. I'm not doing it for me. I want to do it for her because I love her. And I got to remind myself that I can't just preoccupy myself with otherworldly things that would neglect her. But a good man should understand that. He should understand that his purpose is the woman and not something that replaces the woman. He's meant to save her, not replace her or fill her as one of his daily chores. If the work does cost you your relationship, then you've really lost your balance. You haven't gained success. So many men want to work hard to to become successful, and it makes them lose their relationship. It's the same concept of, oh yeah, I'm going to party my whole life and then I'm going to get married all of a sudden. It's the same idea. And you're thinking, well, no, it's not. No, it literally is. Because in one scenario, you want to party super hard and then get married. But in this scenario, oh yeah, I'm going to work super hard and then I'm going to magically get my wife. No, that's not how it works. You need to work hard for the things you want, right? Are you going to party to get your wife? Okay. That might not really be very viable because partying doesn't really get you a wife. Usually working hard gets you a wife. But in both scenarios, whether you're doing it or not, people often forget why they're actually doing it. So you need to constantly remind yourself you're working hard for the wife. You're working hard because you want to attain those things. You want to show her how good of a man you are. And being too busy isn't masculine at the end of the day. Being consistent is. Being disciplined is. Doing the work and then finding time to spend time with the person you love is masculine. And it makes you a man. Because spending more time with a woman, a feminine woman, will make you more masculine rather than spending your time working away. Because at the end of the day, a masculine man is a good man who's able to provide and love a woman. And if you're not providing and loving a woman, or providing for and loving a woman, then you're not a good man. Because a good man is never too busy for the woman that he's working for. So, while you do work to escape all your trauma, you work to find time in your day to do things that bring you closer to her, right? I have a lot of difficulties I experience, and I work to try and escape those difficulties while also bringing myself closer to my goal. But you never work to escape her, right? You work to provide for her, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. This means you need to find time to be with her physically. You need to find time to compliment her and have emotional connection, and you need spiritual connection with her too. If your woman's not praying for your relationship, well, does she really want it? She needs to want it as bad as you do. And that means she'll sacrifice things for you too. And I was so blessed to find a woman who did those things. And I sacrificed a lot for my woman. Here's the issue though. The older version of me, while he would sacrifice for the woman like I'm suggesting now, where you would take time away to be with her, the issue is that I was never spending my spare time actually working on something. So that's when you do find a balance. When you're single, there is no balance. You just work on yourself and remind yourself why you're working. But as soon as you get into a relationship, you need to balance yourself and you need to realize it quick. Because you need to be able to spend time with the person you're actually working for and then spend time working. Because if you're not working, then you're a bad man. And if you're not spending time with her, you're a bad man. Because you got to be consistent, and that's what makes a good man. And a man without purpose is unstable. But a man who ignores purpose for love is also incomplete. So we need to have this balance. Right? A man building a future for a woman versus a man doing work to avoid his emotions is, you have a bit of a dichotomy here, because in one situation, he's doing it very hopefully. In another situation, he's doing it to outrun his past. It's not wrong to want to start becoming a better man to outrun your past. That's not such a terrible thing. It's good that you want to move on from your past experiences no matter how poor they were. But you need to find a way to shape that motivation into hope. You need to find a way to foster a beautiful hope that relies on this relationship that you want to make. And that will drive you further than any other person on the planet. Seriously. This hope that you'll have something so beautiful that you hold so close and pray about every day, and then you work towards it and never forget it, is something that'll drive you further than any other man on the planet, because that hope is endless. Because the strongest men are those who understand why they're working. They're not just working on what they want to achieve. More so, the working back into the 3 tiers of awareness thing that I set up, you need to appreciate why you're working, right? You need to know who you're working for, understand why you're working for them, and then appreciate the work. Those 3 things together will make you a successful man in both love and in finance. So, your business. Right? Or you know what, even if it's not your business, whatever your pursuit of life is. Because every man should have his love, and every man should also have his toys. Right? He should have his things that keep him busy when he's not with the woman, and he should have a woman to keep him motivated to work and keep busy. It's a beautiful relationship. But anyways, no man is too busy to send a text. No man is too busy to make a call or plan a moment. You're never too busy to plan a date or write notes, and you're never too busy to send an I love you, or tell her that you're proud, or tell her that you'll wait and you'll set something up that's lovely. You're never too busy to buy flowers, and you're never too busy to give her a kiss. Too many men fall into this pit where they feel as if they're too busy and their woman isn't important enough. So please understand, always be available to her, and you gotta be consistent. It doesn't matter if she won't text you back, or if she's taking a little bit longer because she herself is busy. And it doesn't matter if she, takes an extra 5 minutes or an extra hour, or, if she's busy the whole day, right? Or, more importantly, it doesn't matter if you're hurt. It doesn't matter if you're physically tired or mentally strained. You always have to be available for her, because the masculine men are built in consistency, not in a lot and then a little. So that means you always gotta tell these things to her. And she'll learn. A good woman would already realize this, but a woman who wants to be a good woman will see how available you are and how consistent you are, and she herself will be more consistent. You don't build consistency off of inconsistency, you build consistency off of consistency and hard work. So if you want her to be more consistent, you yourself have to work harder. And that's pretty scary because men want to just fall into their emotions and be little boys, but honestly, if you want to be a good man, then you gotta just do it. Seriously. Be consistent, always share the love, never be too busy. When a man says he's too busy, what he means is he's really just deorganized or afraid. Because in life you have to make time for what matters most, always. And what matters most should be the woman. What matters most should be the reason why you're working so hard. And you can't ever forget that. Even the most successful men take minutes, take seconds, hours. They take time out of their day to reassure their loved ones. That's not weakness, that's maturity and dedication. Because you must be a weak man to fail to remember why you're working. It's ironic I say this, and an alarm goes off on my phone. An alarm that I set specifically to remind myself every day at 12 o'clock why I'm working. But there you go. You gotta do whatever you can to remind yourself, and there's no shame in it. If you can schedule meetings, then you can schedule your love. Because a good man doesn't make excuses, he makes time. When you love correctly, you'll want to work harder, not less. When there is a proper love, when you have a true faith, a true commitment, you only want to work harder. Because love is not some random feeling that you build and that you worry about. Love is something that pursues you, and love is something that you yourself pursue to become stronger. I think I'm truly a man of love, and I truly do love this person. Not because I care for her or the things she did for me, but because even while I'm away, I'm trying to dedicate my entire life to become a better man for them. And that in itself is love, because it's not fading away when times are difficult. In fact, it's growing stronger because you want to work harder for the person you truly care about. And I'm willing to sacrifice all the things that I hold close and all the challenges that I've held to my name to become a better person for them. Because love gives you accountability. It always reminds you why you started. And if you're not able to look back and remember all the reason why you wanted to work hard, then ultimately that work was for nothing. Men who run from love often run from their discipline too. Because love requires structure, requires sacrifice, it requires patience, and it requires communication. Without that, then it's not love. God gave man a purpose, and he also gave him partnership. Out there you have your rib. The rib that God was breathing life into. And it would be unwise for you to not pursue that, and remember why you should pursue that. There's a reason why you have a partner. There's a reason why you're a leader, and someone else will come into your life to support you. There's a reason why you are to support someone, and they will lead you too. It's a beautiful relationship. It's more than just yin and yang. It's this complete, perfect balance. Right? I know I say that yin and yang is the representation of balance, but this is so much more intricate. This isn't just two opposites that combine. This is two opposites that perfectly reflect each other and just perfectly complement one another. And they're more than harmony, because when things do go wrong, then they just get better. It's never perfect. In fact, there's perfectness within the imperfectness, because in it being imperfect, you're able to grow and be even better. That's why it's not yin and yang, because yin and yang is something that's always effective. Relationships won't always be effective. Relationships won't always be consistent. But if you can build that consistency into the inconsistency, then you yourself can prove to her that you are a good man. And to do that, you must never forget why you're becoming a good man. You must set boundaries for yourself too. Maybe not necessarily boundaries. I referred to this in another video, but I say goals. Set goals for each other, right? Set time to build and time to be present. You want to do this at this time. You want to do this at this time. When she says no, or when you say no, maybe rephrase it in such a way that's not now. Because if you truly love this person and you truly want to marry them and make them the rest of your life, then you will have those times. You will have those moments. So don't let a no be no. Let a no be not yet. Let a no be maybe later. Let a no be let's make it more special. Because if you truly love this person, then you're willing to do whatever it takes for them. So don't tell yourself no. Absolutely don't tell yourself no. Don't tell yourself that you won't do the hard work. Don't tell yourself that you're not going to make it. Tell yourself just not yet. And tell yourself you'll work hard today to get closer to it. Because a disciplined man doesn't mix the two. He honors both. A good man doesn't just demand for constant attention. Sorry, a good woman doesn't demand your constant attention. She just needs your consistent reassurance. And a good man will provide that reassurance without asking for it, without her needing to ask you for it. And I never realized this. I always thought, oh, I want the woman to ask me for reassurance. I want to feel like I'm important. I want to feel like I'm being asked. But that just makes me a shitty man if she has to ask me for everything. So I need to be able to provide these things instinctively without needing to worry about it, so such that she is reassured. She is reassured. And she'll see within that reassurance how good of a man that I am. Communication should be transparent. And when you end your workday, you should always ground it with a call or some sort of message towards her, no matter what job you're doing or how often you work. You should always base that work in her and make it clear that you're doing it for her because you love her. And you should never let your ambition justify your absence, because your ambition should be her, not your work. And you got to be careful not to confuse the two. My apologies, I guess the battery on my camera ran out. But anyways, as I was saying, a man's time is sacred. And a woman should feel like she has a place within it. The same way a woman's time is sacred, and a man should feel he has a place in it. Also, I'm just noticing, wow, when I get passionate, I bounce my feet up and down. That's funny. Anyways, anytime you do show up for her, even when you're tired, you're proving your word means something. And a good woman will recognize that. A good woman will see that you show up even when you're tired, and she'll hold you, wrap you, and care for you in this beautiful, female love. And, whatever. At the end of the day, I want to work, and that's what I'd like. And I can't forget that. And a woman who doesn't fall in love with your goals will fall in love with your presence. And that's really important, because your goals can't be something that you push upon her. You just need to provide your presence to the woman. Your goals can't be something that she wants, because she needs to want you, and she needs to appreciate your goals. A good woman is going to love you no matter what you're doing. Whether you're a garbage man or whether you're Jeff Bezos, at the end of the day, she's got to love you for you. And you need to be someone who's going to work hard no matter what you're doing for her. The legacy of a good man isn't what he builds, it's who he builds it with. So you got to make sure you build it with someone who's worthy of you and someone you're worthy for. More importantly, you can't forget the who. You can't forget who you're working for and building with. The world remembers your work, and so she will remember your love. And that is what's most important as a man. So finally, don't become so busy building your future that you forget who you're building it for. Because success without love is really just hollow, and we see it all around the world. You gotta be the man who provides and protects, with your presence and not just your paycheck. Because a good man is never too busy for his woman, because everything he does is ultimately for her. My name is Nolan T. Painter, and thank you for watching. Also, man, I am so blessed to be learning this stuff. So many people my age go through all these things, and they never learn these until they're way older. They never learn this valuable perspective that I'm given until they're older. So you know what? Let me tell you, I'm going to use all my learnings. I'm going to use all my teachings, use all my mistakes, use all my courage, and I'm going to become one amazing man. But yeah, thank you so much for watching.